What is going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today, very special knife. We're going to be taking a look at the Benchmade Anthem. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay, today we are going to take a look at this beautiful knife. This is the Benchmade 781 Anthem. The reason I say this one is special because this is the absolute first integral. Some people say integral. Some people say, there's two different terms. I'm going to say integral. So this is the first knife that I have ever handled that is an integral. We're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. As you'll notice, this is not two scales that were pinched together with either barrel spacers or a back spacer. This is one solid piece of titanium. So that's what makes this knife special to me, because this is absolutely my first time handling one. This is a knife that I have handled. Well, I say that I've been able to pick one up and handle it at my local knife shop. Actually, the guy who owns it, John, super cool guy. If you live in North Alabama, you need to go check out Knives and More in Huntsville. Super awesome dude with an awesome story, and he is a huge Benchmade retailer. So he has a tons and tons of Benchmades, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So definitely go check him out. But he has his everyday carry. So I was able to kind of handle it, but I wasn't like taking it home for review or anything like that. This one is actually loaned to us by a wonderful viewer, Freak Show EDC_EDC. Jeremy is just an awesome dude. We've become friends. He sent me quite a few knives. This is one of them, and man, am I happy because I've always wanted to really get behind this knife and try it out. So it was awesome. Putting this in pocket, I was very excited about it because it was one of those Benchmades when I was first getting into knives and getting a couple of Benchmades that was kind of out of my price point back then. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to be able to see it. But now there are integrals, out there from other companies. There were when this thing came out, but this was the first one that I knew about. And so it really excited me. This thing is pretty awesome. Full titanium construction as an integral and 20 CV steel, which you guys know that I love 20 CV, especially for an everyday carry steel. I think it is just absolutely amazing. It has a tumbled finish blade and is just freaking awesome. Now, you might notice that there is something different about this one. This one has been anodized a blue color, and I love that. Now, these things originally come in a bronze anodized finish. I love bronze, okay? I really do. However, if you bronze it, if you do an anodization in bronze and it's lighter, it tends to get lighter and lighter to where it almost looks a different color by the time you handle it a lot. So I like it whenever it's brand new, but then over time, I've seen some of that anodization wear down to where it's almost like a bronzish gray. And I'm not a huge fan of that. So I dig that he actually had this one anodized blue. Don't know how well that is coming over, but very nice. I really dig that. It fits the knife well. This thing, as you can see, as far as the milling on this integral, it's like this chevron pattern all the way through the knife. It provides a very nice grip without being like, tough or anything. I really enjoy that. And me being in manufacturing, the fact that this is one piece of titanium that they have to get right, that's why most of the time integrals are more expensive, because they are harder to manufacture. If you mess this up, you mess the whole thing up. It's not like a scale. You mess up, you make another one. You've already got, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where you can see how deep this is. You have to get your end mills that hang out far away from the spindle to be able to go in there, dig this thing out. So very impressive as far as that is concerned. Most people, I don't know how much people know about manufacturing, but that's what they have to do to be able to make this one piece. And I think they did an excellent job. I really do. Fit and finish on this thing. Not really any sharp spots anywhere. Definitely well manufactured and finished on this guy. This, titanium is just a great material, one of my favorite materials for handles. And then, of course, being an integral, I have seen a couple of G10 integrals before, and that's pretty interesting. I like that a lot too. But, classic drop point. This one has been sharpened by Jeremy, Freak Show EDC. He does professional sharpening, so definitely go check him out on Instagram. I will, of course, have it linked down below if you are looking for those kind of services. This thing is super duper sharp. Now, I know he uses his knives like crazy, like he beats them. Like, he's not nice on his knives because he can sharpen the hell out of them. So, but he uses his knives. All of the knives that I have had from him, he has sharpened. I believe there might have been one that he had sent me without his edge on it, but super, super sharp. Now, I don't know how many times this one has been sharpened. This one is a good size. The blade thickness on this thing is only about 110 thousandths with that beautifully crowned spine, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it is pretty thick behind the edge as of right now. It's about 30 thousandths behind the edge. I'm not sure if that really is the way it comes because he has sharpened this thing, and I think he's done quite a few sharpenings on this. But, it's got a saber grind that it goes up about 3/4 of the way. Beautiful, just an excellent blade shape, for everyday use. It does absolutely wonderful for all the cutting tasks that I do on an EDC basis. It does have the option to go right or left hand, tip up only. So, it's going to be appealing to the lefties out there because the axis lock is an ambidextrous lock that I know a lot of lefties absolutely love because it just makes it easy for you to be able to manipulate this a lot better than your standard frame lock and or liner lock. So that's great. Lefties got to love it. The hardware on this is a little bit different than what you see on your typical Benchmades as far as your lock there. You see on this, that's what it usually looks like. And then, of course, the pivot. Pivot's about the same. It's just a shiny. So, but the gear kind of pattern that's on this, if I can get it to focus, it was really, really cool. It's actually really pleasant to grab. I actually like it better than your standard Benchmade axis lock access nubs here. I really think it works great. And speaking of axis locks, it has it, but it's different. And this is what makes it really cool for me. Because it's an integral, it's not really, they couldn't do the axis lock with the Omega spring the way they do a bunch of them. So they came up with this. And I like this a whole lot better. I actually wish they would do all their other knives like this, which would be a lot of headache and stuff for them. I get it. But let's see if I can show you. Instead of the Omega spring, come on, light. Oh, my light going down? Instead of the Omega spring, if we can focus. Focus. It's kind of hard. See if we can get this in there. There we go. You see that right there? There is the spring, and there's a piece of steel, metal, titanium, I'm not sure, that screws into the back of the knife, and then there's a rod that goes on that spring, and that is what compresses the lock bar for the axis lock, and it really works a lot better, in my opinion. This knife feels a lot different than my other Benchmades, being the Super Freak and the Crooked River. As far as the way it flips, this does have bearings. So as far as the action is concerned, it is amazing, especially for a Benchmade. If you like Benchmades and the axis lock, this is definitely the way to go because it's just amazing the difference that you feel between your regular Benchmade with the Omega spring and this one. In my opinion, maybe some people are not that way. They're like, I think it feels the same. I don't. I think it feels different. And I think it feels better. Absolutely just amazing in my hands. One thing that I love on this knife is, mentioned before, the crown spine just makes for such a classy, just finished look on a blade that I really, really like. The only other company that does that a lot is Giant Mouse. Giant Mouse is definitely, I've had a few Giant Mouses on the channel, and I've just praised it because I love it. I love the fact of any company that takes the extra time to crown the spine, because I just think it looks cool. It feels great. This knife does not have any jimping up here. You don't really need it because the ergonomics on this thing is fine. It's not like melting your hand, but it's definitely a neutral enough shape. It swells here in the middle to give you a nice grip. The pocket clip does not cause a hot spot. It is flat, so ergonomically this thing really works well in my hand. Now the pocket clip, yeah. I mean, if I could knock this knife or something, it would be the pocket clip. Now, and the reason I say that, it kind of, it mimics the chevron pattern on the scales, which is fine. However, it's still kind of, it's still the same shape as this one, the phallic kind of shape. I'm not a huge fan of that. It does have the 3-hole pattern, so you can put other pocket clips on it, but would it fit the knife? There are some out there, I know, titanium loop over deep carry pocket clips that you could anodize to get the same color as your scales, whether it be the original bronze or if you do some other anodization like Jeremy did. But I just think, the pocket clip it works fine. It's, this one, a lot of people say that it has a little tick, and it does, but I think it works great in and out of pocket. As far as functionally, it's great. I just actually don't like the way it looks. I think they would have been better off to do a different kind of 3D milled pocket clip, or just went with a titanium deep carry pocket clip, in my opinion. That's probably the only thing I can really knock this knife for, because everything else I really have fallen in love with. So as far as the size, it's really a great EDC carry size, and I think it's going to make a lot of people happy as far as that. It's just barely over 8 inches long with a 3.5-inch blade. Excuse me. And I think like the handle length is just, like 4.5 inches. So, you can see in my oversized hands here that when I grip this thing, I can get a 4-finger grip. It's right there at the end. This little area is rounded off, which on some knives can poke me here because I have real big fat fingers. It does not do it on this guy. I don't feel that right there. So really, really comfortable. And as far as the size is concerned, even somebody with big hands like me, I think will be able to do great with this knife in an EDC environment, doing your regular EDC task. Just to show you as far as that is concerned, here it is against the PM2, and then here it is against the Para 3. So longer than the Para 3 and just a hair shorter than the PM2. So it fits right there in between those. And so, if this is kind of your base mark, which a lot of people do use as far as size, I think this is going to be great. Obviously, as far as the difference between the Spyderco and the Benchmade, the carry profile in your pocket is definitely going to be better, as you can see. So it's smaller than the PM2. And then definitely thinner in the profile of the pocket. So if you have carried one of these, then you will definitely think this is no problem. The other Benchmade we have on the table right now is the Super Freak, and of course a much smaller knife than the Super Freak, especially in the width. Usually I don't like a thin-handled knife, but this is about as thin as I like it, because it's pretty thin this way too. People are going to love that. It fills it up just enough for me to not feel really cramped on the knife. So they've hit it kind of in that sweet spot for big and or small hands, in my opinion. Really, really dig that. I think it's really great design. And so for the price, the price is what drives people crazy. Benchmades are known for, their prices of knives being a little bit higher than what people would want to pay. This knife, I know, was well over $400 at one point. I did look at Blade HQ. Their last price that they had it at was like $362. So I guess that was a discontinued sale price, because I believe they were a lot more than that, well over $400. These things apparently are discontinued, but you still can find them on the secondary market. For Benchmade guys, this is probably the grail. If you're not looking at a gold class Benchmade, this is the grail knife for the Benchmade collectors out there, because it's done great. I really have enjoyed carrying it. I think it's a great design. The only thing I'd probably change is that pocket clip. It's got a wonderful steel. It carries well. I just, it's all in all EDC, like a premium EDC knife that's very different and integral that you just don't see very often. I believe this is definitely pocket jewelry and a definite compliment. When you bust this thing out, people are like, what is that? And then you show them, how it's done as far as being an integral. It's really, really cool. I enjoy carrying it and talking about it. As far as the action, you just saw me there. The way I deploy this knife, the thumb studs work really well, but I still do the reverse flick on that thumb stud because it works beautifully and just that's how I prefer to open my knives. Very fidgety, obviously, because it's an axis lock, and it works better than the axis locks that I've tried in the past with the design that they have with that spring instead of the Omega spring. So all in all, guys, conclusion, I like it. Don't know if I would pay the price for it, because at that price, when these things were coming out, $400 some odd, you can get a lot of other knives for that price that I would rather have. Now, that's just me. I like the bigger knives. This is a great EDC size. I like the bigger knives. I like the Hinder, the Striders, the Spartan Harsey folders, all those things. Those are kind of in my wheelhouse as far as the size that I've gotten. And then those knives are around that price. So you got to take that into consideration. But a lot of the Benchmade fanboys out there, yeah, this is definitely a grill for most of them, I guarantee you. And I can see why. If you like Benchmade, and especially if you're a left-handed person with the axis lock, it really couldn't be easier to actuate this guy. Definitely and some people kind of mock, kind of bitch about these holes, but I like the fact that you can flip it, because these left-handed people out there, they kind of get the raw end of the deal. So some people bitch about the holes being exposed on this side, but I don't mind it at all. A filler tab or something like that on some other knives like Rick Hinder and whatnot, maybe would have worked, but to kind of fill that, those holes. But I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think it's great. So all in all, great knife. I really have enjoyed having it in pocket. I really want to thank Jeremy, Freak Show EDC. He's just an awesome dude. He sent me all these knives. He's been a real good support for the channel, and I could not be happier. He is such a wonderful, wonderful friend, and we want to thank him. Definitely go check him out. Link in the description for his Instagram. Give him a follow and hit him up if you need any sharpening done for any of your knives. Guys, I really appreciate you. Hitting the camera, stopping by and checking it out with me. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you like this kind of stuff, we got a lot more coming. I love all of my subscribers. You guys are so wonderful. Stay safe out there in this crazy world that we're living in, and we will see you in the next one.